is gonna take Cracker Jack timing, Wang.
Total concentration. You ready, Jack?
I was born ready.
Welcome back to Thinking Critical. This is Wes. Obviously, I said on the Comics Aficionados we were going to be doing this Best of the Week video on Sunday. Unfortunately, they did the double release on the solicitation, so this is actually going to come up on Monday, so I do apologize for that. It's one day late, but do expect this video each and every week on Sunday where we talk about the best comic books of the week. And do not get too happy with all the nice comic book reviews, because Doc and I are going to show up later today, and we're going to crap on two very bad comic books. Obviously, here with me is Drew from Comics League. How you doing, Drew?
Doing great, Wes. Great to be back, and I'm great. I love talking comics, and I love talking new comics, so this is fun.
Well, you're going to be happy. We're not going to talk about Wonder Woman Evolution or Exo Manowar. Those are the two comics that Doc and I are going to talk about. Were they stinkers?
Yes, they were stinkers. Those were. I do know specifically the Wonder Woman Evolution that really got under my skin. I couldn't.
That was a very, very bad comic book. But we're here to talk about good stuff. And before that, if people do not know, you were at Comics Elite. You guys do you do store exclusive variant covers every single week. It seems like you have the hottest covers out there. What can people be looking forward to coming up next week? I think these are on pre-sale now.
They are on pre-sale now. And I know this video won't be going up until next week, but if you're, hopefully you're on our website this weekend, because Sean is put in a code, or not. He's on the website Comics Elite. Batgirls #1 by Kendrick Lim, the set, the Virgin and Trade Dress. You can buy the set right now today for $25, $10 off. If you buy it this weekend.
Let's definitely have that out there. Obviously, you see the beautiful artwork. You can get the one with the trade dress or the Virgin, and they definitely go together as a set.
Absolutely. Cover A is limited to, I believe, 1,500, and I think 3,000 for cover B. It's been limited too. But yeah, these are really good. And Sean just told me the numbers. He had to put up more. They sold so well. He wasn't expecting it. He said, "Tell me, we have to add more." So that's good.
That is a good problem to have. Now let's get on to another good problem to have. We're going to talk about the best comic books. Now, we should have started this last week, because last week was loaded with great comic books wall to wall. This week is a little bit more sparse, but there are definitely some gems out there. We're going to hit the indie comics, we're going to hit Marvel comics, and then we'll hit DC at the end. The indie comic I'm going to talk about is from Bolt, from one of my favorite writers, Ram V. This isn't my favorite comic book that I've read so far. It's got a strong premise to it. We'll see what he does with it. But Radio Apocalypse, as the name would imply, it's in a post-apocalyptic future where some type of meteor has struck the Earth. There's one radio station that's still out there, that's still playing music and talking to people, and that is essentially the focal point of this story as these wanderers are kind of arriving in this town. It's got, it's got more experimental art. It's kind of weird in the fact that I think a lot of the characters themselves are unattractive or kind of made to look ugly. I believe that's because of the setting of the book. But the colors are super duper vibrant and pop a lot. So there's kind of that contrast there, which I did enjoy.
Yeah, the art, like you said, it brings up, it's a reflection of the society of how it is at that time. Sorry, somewhere I go down the wrong pipe. I drank earlier. But toward the end, you can really tell there is a heart to this story, where one person's reaching out to the other person via the radio. It's like, oh my God, there actually is a story here. So it kind of has me, but the art was kind of what left me like, I don't know if I'm digging this, but
it's indie art, so you never know what you're going to get.
Correct. So I'm still going to check out issue 2, because I did kind of like issue 1. So maybe we'll see what happens with issue 2. But yeah, it's not a bad choice. You can't really go wrong with Ram V in this one.
And if you're a music fan, there are some Easter eggs and whatnot as far as music that are in there. And it says in there, once you see the Easter egg, you're supposed to go play the song. At least that's the instructions from Ram V. So if you're a music fan, I think you'll like this even more. So yeah, that's the one that...
Yeah, I'm sorry. He actually did say, I think he said it in the beginning of the comic, like, if you see it, do play it with the music. Do play the story with the music. It's like, okay.
And then the other one I'll talk about, and I'll talk about this one in far less detail. I really like Blade Runner. And there's 2 series out right now from Titan Comics. They have the Blade Runner. I think it's 2029 right now. I like that one. Okay, it's not as good as Blade Runner 2019, but Blade Runner Origins, which I believe it's the 8th issue. Maybe it's the 9th, but I like that series. And if you're into the Blade Runner universe and you want to know kind of how the Blade Runner issues and all that stuff with them coming to Earth started, this is the comic book for you. Another very interesting issue, but wasn't the best one in the series so far.
You know, I was reading that at first. I was reading that series, but I dropped it after like issue 4 or 5 because I really wasn't sure where the story was going. And
yeah, it's a murder mystery where you're going to kind of find out how the big corporation is, all the politics and stuff going on. So if you like Blade Runner, I think you'll like that series. Did you have any other indie books people should be reading this week?
I'm going to add Primordial #3 from Image Comics, Jeff Lemire. The mystery continues. This time we get it from the monkey's perspective. Last week we had the dog. This week it's the monkey. And they finally meet each other. They have a little conversation. And it looks like in the next issue, we're going to get more into the alien source of what's going on.
So this has one of the coolest premises out there as far as anything on the indie scene. So apparently the animals that were sent into space during the space race between Russia and the United States, they went missing. And now they have returned several years later. By several, I mean like decades later.
Yeah,
and they're smart now. They've been changed, and there's something that has happened with these animals as they've returned to Earth. I am not the biggest Jeff Lemire fan for reasons outside of comic book writing themselves, but the hook itself, once I heard it, I was like, that sounds actually pretty dope.
Yeah, it's a very interesting concept, and it's also an alternate universe too, where I think the space program was disassembled in the 60s. So you got to also go along with the facts, like, okay, so characters, timelines are going to be askew in this.
So it's kind of an alternate history. And who's the artist on that one? I know it's not going to be
Andrea Sorrentino, longtime collaborator.
Oh, it is Sorrentino. Okay, that is the normal collaborator. So you know who's going to look it's going to look great. And obviously he also has May's book out right now, which is another book that I know a lot of people are enjoying by Lemire.
Yep, I've been enjoying that too. That's been one of my constant picks. Yeah, Jeff Lemire, I mean, between Primordial, Robin and Batman, and May's book, he's 3 for 3 so far. He's doing really well.
So it's a big mystery is what, if you're into mysteries and you like stuff about space and alternate history timelines, Primordial is going to be the book for you.
Exactly. And if you like animals, if you like dogs, cats, monkeys, you'll probably like them.
There's no dog torture in this book?
No dog torture, no.
The dog actually comes back smarter and probably more powerful.
Yes, it sounds like a Simpsons premise, but I enjoy it. It's great.
Absolutely. So those will be kind of the indie picks this week. Let's move on to Marvel Comics. Now, Marvel's kind of in a weird place. I think they have some really great stuff at the very top, and I think like once you get off the upper crust, it's an enormous drop, and there's a bunch of blah stuff out there. But this week we do get an issue of what I think is the best ongoing book from Marvel. Now that Hellions is over, well, Hellions has one more issue, but it's over. Daredevil is on a hiatus for Devil's Raid. Moon Knight from Jed McKay with Alessandro Capuccio's art. I love the art. I like the direction that they're taking Moon Knight. I do have one critique. I wish it wasn't kind of all centered around Moon Knight going through therapy.
Yes.
But that is what the story is, one of the narrative devices that they're using. But I really like the direction that they're taking the character. And I like the idea that they're adding in these new, Khonshu kind of based villains that have some similarities to them. Obviously, this week we read a brand new villain that exposes themselves at the very end.
Yes, we do. I did enjoy that. And I also enjoyed granted, I'm tired of the therapist aspect as well, but we hadn't really gotten it before where he talked about being a Jewish man and more or less losing that religion, that the belief, the hope in God, and going to Khonshu, going to him.
How his father was a rabbi and he felt that he was weak because he would let someone treat him poorly and turn the other cheek.
Yes.
And then over time, he learned that his father was stronger than anyone he knew because he never lost his faith. And he personally gave up his faith, at the drop of a hat when it served him best.
I loved it. I haven't really gotten that before. I'm like, oh, wow, it's Jed McKay. Holy crap, man, you're doing well.
Absolutely. There's also all the little weird things that are going in there. We have this soldier character. I like the symbolism of that character, that you learn something about them, that they're associated, kind of with Hydra. And he's like, you should leave me. He's about to, something bad's about to happen. They're up against the clock. And Moon Knight won't leave him there because he doesn't want anyone to abandon him, even though he finds fault in himself. So he can't abandon Soldier, even though he's just learned details about him, which might not be so flattering. So you could see that he was kind of projecting himself into Soldier. It was like, if my friends are going to stand behind me and, and I want to believe in myself, I have to believe in you and try to save somebody that perhaps isn't so great.
Yeah, and it was a good parallel to what he was talking about with the therapist about him and his faith between Jewish faith and Khonshu. It's like, okay, great. He can at least believe in him. I took it as, yes.
Yeah, I like the symbolism of that. So it's a really strong series. It's not the fastest burn in the world, but it certainly isn't what I would call decompressed.
No, absolutely not. No,
every comic has an arc and has a beginning, middle, and end, and there's obviously this overarching thing that's going on.
Yes, this is one of probably the best series from Jed MacKay, I would say, right now, arguably. And I really want to know if he has different editors on different books, because this one is just so well written, and I can't begin to think what it's like if he does have multiple editors on different books he's writing.
Well, he might. This might just be the character that really resonates with him. You never know. He certainly did not have a good grasp of Taskmaster, I can tell you.
No,
that.
Not at all. And it's like, I really, really wish I could get a grasp on Jed MacKay as a person, so I could really understand like strong points, weak points of who he is, personality-wise.
Similar to Tom Taylor, but not quite as pronounced. Where you're like, who the hell is this writer?
Yeah,
because you can't kind of get a grasp of it. But that one's definitely the one I recommend. I love the art by Alessandro Cappuccio. He definitely brings it again. Was there any other Marvel comics out there that you think people should be reading this week?
The one Marvel I would recommend is Kang. Kang the Conqueror #4. We're effectively getting Kang's life through 6 issues, and this issue #4, I called it if you haven't seen the movie, it's the butterfly effect issue when he falls in love, and in his older self tells him, "Don't fall in love. Don't do it." And he has to learn that lesson the hard way, and he does. And I felt in the art by Carlos Magno, he is terrific. In my opinion, he is the next superstar at Marvel. And after this, I really hope we see more of him. This is a very fun read.
You know what's interesting? Obviously, Kang is a very important character just to Marvel in general right now. We did have the Loki series on Disney Plus.
Yeah,
we got to meet the new Kang. We know he's going to be in the movie universe and be one of the big villains up there.
I hated that iteration of Kang. I hated it. I'm just like, this is not Kang at all.
It was a little bit different, but we're certainly seeing that being reflected in the comic books. We did get this miniseries.
Yes,
and Kang is going to play a central role in. They're going to call it an event comic, Timeless. It's really it's a $6 preview comic for what they're going to be publishing for the next year.
Yes.
But Kang is definitely going to be a character that is going to be essential focus in Marvel Comics probably for the next year. So this is probably one of those series that if you are a Marvel person and you haven't been reading this, you probably need to get on it because you're going to have some seeds planted for what's going to be coming down the pike.
Absolutely. And, like you said, Kang, he is going to be across all multimedia platforms as a villain. And so this is a good jumping on point for anyone who I know his history, who he's been in love with, how his effect in time, his effect on different villains and heroes throughout the Marvel history. This is a great series. You could do a heck of a lot worse than King the Conqueror when learning about Kang.
Yeah, I know another one that you liked out there was it Dark Ages? I mentioned Tom Taylor earlier. He's that writer. Like, who is this writer? How is he the same guy that's doing John Kent, Superman doing Deceased, or how is he the same guy that's doing Dark Knights of Steel?
Yeah, I don't get it. It's so mind-boggling weird. I don't know who he's going to be each week, which one I'm going to get. But Dark Ages #3. So I've been on and off the series, but this latest issue, there was a great moment in here where the remaining heroes are discussing what they're going to do, what their plan's going to be, and Dr. Doom is walking around. All he's doing is saying tick, 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 just calling out the heroes for wasting their time. I loved it. That is great. And I love where it's going. It's a great mystery. We're seeing heroes as villains, villains as heroes. It's a very fun read. I enjoy it.
If you're a fan of like the Elseworlds concept where you're in an alternate timeline, they also, I can't remember the name of the artist right now. It's escaping me, but they brought in a badass artist for it too. Is it? Yeah, actually, is it Ivan Coelho?
I got it right here. Let's see here. I think it might be Ivan. It is, Ivan Coelho.
Okay, yeah, he's a fantastic artist. Obviously, he was doing the work on Venom when Ryan Stegman had to step away and do the King in Black series.
Yes, he was a great fill-in artist. Like I told Sean, like I completely forgot that it wasn't Stegman, it was him. I'm like, because he did such a great reflection of his artwork.
Yeah, so there's definitely some high moments at Marvel Comics this week. Now let's talk about DC, and I'm going to be honest. I read all the Batman comics. I was not a fan of the End of Fear State. I read Superman Son of Kal-El #5. I read Wonder Woman Evolution. I didn't read all the DC comics, but I read most of the very big titles. I don't have one to recommend this week. Do you have anything that's out there from DC that you thought would have been worth people's time?
So I recommended it. I watched the review you and Josh did. You guys, you were kind of on the fence about it.
Big V.
Yes, I am enjoying this series. I can't begin to explain it. I love Bill Willingham, what he's doing here. One thing I have to remind myself, it's Batman in a Fables universe. It's not going to be more or less our Batman. So it's going to be like a different world, different Gotham. So he's got his own Robins in this. And I love the artist for this. I think it's Jason Level is his name, Brian Level. Great artist. He's got a great 1980s Rebel Studio indie vibe to it, and I dig it. And I just love the fun, the mystery of the story. Yeah, I can't recommend this enough.
So I had not read the first 2 issues because there's so much Batman content out there. Quite frankly, It's overwhelming.
It is.
If you would do a show like This Week in Batman, we can't review sometimes all the Batman books.
Yeah.
This week we had space for it, so I quickly perused the first 2 issues, as I was trying to get prepared because, you only have so many days, hours in the day between Tuesday and to record it Wednesday morning.
Yeah.
So I would go in there
Tuesday morning and Tuesday night.
I read through the first 2 real quick. I didn't do it line by line. When I got into 3, I was just a little bit lost. And plus I had just read Batman and I just read Nightwing and I had just read, there's another bad Batman book. So I was not in a good mood. So that probably had to put
that could explain it. And really do go back and read those first 2 issues. Take the time, just read those first 2. And they are a lot of fun. And how Bill Willingham writes Batman in this is a breath of fresh air. Compared to what we've been getting lately with Batman. It's like, yes, this is our hero Batman. He's confident. He's strong. He's got his Robins. It's focused on Batman. This is what I want.
Now, a lot of people are turned off by the amount of Batman content. Hey, I'm one of them, having to read all these and review them.
Likewise, yeah.
And if they're looking for an alternative Batman, I know you've enjoyed Blue and Gold. I haven't read that one. Dan Jurgens is one of my favorite writers, but it feels... in some ways that the DC universe really isn't going anywhere, but hey, that's one of the series that you've said that DC's putting out that's pretty good.
Yes, right now for this week, Blue and Gold #4 came out this week. We're halfway through.
That's Ryan Sook, right?
Yeah, Ryan Sook on the art, Dan Jurgens. But this issue is fun in particular. Like I said, I said in my review, if you're of the age between probably 30 to 45, maybe 50, you'll enjoy this series. It is a lot of fun. I love these 2 characters. I've loved them ever since I was a kid. And what's great about this issue is that Booster and Blue Beetle are telling a story about how their first fight together went, but they're telling it differently. It's like, wait, that's not how it went. And you have different artists like Kevin McGuire jumps in, tells a story a certain way with Blue Beetle, and Dan Jurgens tells it a different way with Booster Gold. And then at the very end, we have a third character come in and says, no, this is how it went, with another great 80s Justice League character. And it's a lot of fun. So
if you're looking for a bit of a something to distract you from all the stuff that's going on DC, hey, you can go check out that Blue and Gold series. It's never going to be interrupted by an event. It's going to be its own thing, and it's going to be allowed to have your own series. It's almost like, it's hard to compare it to that. I was like, I really enjoyed Hawkman, but then they kind of ruined it with the Year of the Villain stuff.
Yes.
Why is this here?
I completely agree. I was reading Hawkman. I loved Hawkman. But like you said, as soon as they tied it into the Year of the Villain, I'm like, I'm out. This was fun in its own universe, in its own corner. But then, no.
So you're probably going to be guaranteed that it's not going to happen in Blue and Gold. So
yeah,
this wasn't the greatest week in the history of comic books, but there are definitely comic books worth your time and worth your reading. If you read something, we didn't talk about it here, and you want people to know that it was a good comic book this week, definitely let us know in the comment section. We definitely want to hear back from you guys. Drew, do you have any other final words? I know you have a Kickstarter coming out. There's going to be a link in the video description. Do you want to tell the people anything about your upcoming Kickstarter?
Yes, I do. Yeah, in 2 weeks, Born of Blood #1 launches on Kickstarter. It's through Merc Magazine, and we're going to have this up for a whole month. And essentially, it's going to be the wife of Leonidas. We're going to learn her whole life from her birth to death, her alpha to her omega, and seeing just how the Spartan soldiers, how the Spartan way has survived up to the Merc Magazine character lines currently. So I'm having a lot of fun writing that. And if Sean gave me the opportunity to write a female character the way I would write it, and this is what we're getting. It's great. I love it.
So definitely, if you want to support Drew and his comic, there is a link in the video description. The campaign has not started yet, but you can go in there and you can go and like kind of pre-sign up and get the updates and everything and be ready for it when it launches.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's up there ready to go. We're going to have some great covers coming up, got some great perks and some great stretch goals. Yeah, it should be a lot of fun.
And I do want to say congratulations, Drew. I know that you're not only an enormous comic book fan, I imagine this is something that you've been very interested in doing. And congratulations on getting to do the dream.
Thanks. Yeah, it's like you said, I've loved comics ever since I was in first grade, kindergarten, and getting to do this now, as an adult, it's it's a dream come true.
All right, so we will be back next Sunday to talk about all the best comic books of the week, and we will keep you up to date, and we'll see you later.